Fire Dakota Johnson officially confirms, no more romance rumors with Jamie Dornan. Dakota Johnson appeared before the camera with an unusual calm. Her long brown hair was slightly curled, her white silk shirt tucked into black trousers, minimalist, discreet, but still exuding an undeniable energy. The talk was announced a week ago, with a curious invitation. Dakota Johnson, speaking for the first time about the truth behind a relationship that was fabricated for more than a decade. The host was Diane Porter, a famous television icon who specializes in exposing hidden truths in Hollywood. The words were carefully chosen. The looks were scrutinizing but not overwhelming. Everything seemed to be preparing for an emotional earthquake, and it really happened. The unavoidable question. After 20 minutes of chatting about Dakota's new project, the indie film, The Side of Silence, the most anticipated and dreaded question finally comes. Diane, her voice slow, her eyes piercing, Dakota, I'm probably the 1387th person to ask you this. But more than 10 years after you and Jamie Dornan first appeared together in 50 Shades of Grey, the rumors of your romance have not died down. You've dodged it, you've deflected it. But today, can you, for the first and last time, confirm it? The audience holds its breath. The camera zooms in on Dakota's face. She closes her eyes for a second. Then she opens them and smiles, not her usual PR smile, but a smile that's both relieved and a little wistful. Yes, Diane, I'll be clear today. There are no more rumors of a romance between Jamie Dornan and me. Because there never was. What didn't happen? The room fell into a state of confused silence. Dakota's answer was like a punch to the imagination of millions of fans around the world, who had written thousands of fanfics, built up countless theories, even bet that they loved each other but had to hide it. Diane blinked, then asked, You mean, between you and Jamie Dornan, there was absolutely no relationship that went beyond co-stars? Dakota nodded, slowly. That's right. We were colleagues. We acted, shared the most difficult scenes, built a deep trust. But that was it. Nothing more, never more. Biggest role, freedom from expectations. Dakota Johnson, daughter of stars Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith, is no stranger to controversy. But 50 Shades was a literal storm. The film brought her global fame, but also thrust her into the spotlight of endless scrutiny. She continued, Every time I showed up anywhere, whether it was on a red carpet, a talk show, or just walking in the park, if I was smiling, people would say I was texting Jamie. If I was sad, people would say we had a fight. If I was quiet, people would say I was hiding something. I don't live by those assumptions. But it's been with me for over 10 years, Diane asked. Do you ever feel hurt when a friendship is turned into something else in the public eye? Dakota looks straight into the camera. I'm not hurt because they thought I loved Jamie. I'm hurt because they can't believe that a man and a woman can share artistic intimacy, without the need for romantic love to justify it. The boat photo and the classic misconceptions. If there was one moment that cemented the Dakota Jamie myth, it was the photo of the two of them standing side by side on a yacht promoting 50 Shades Freed at Cannes 2018. Jamie whispers something, Dakota laughs, and puts his hand lightly on his shoulder. The photo goes viral, prompting a series of headlines. That look is from someone in love. That gesture is not friendship. Proof of their hidden feelings. Dakota smiles slightly when Diane mentions it. I remember that day, Jamie said, if we ever have to answer questions about sex scenes again, I'm going to lock myself in the cabin. I laughed so hard I almost dropped my drink. That was it. People see a random second and then make a whole story out of it. And they like that. Sometimes the unreal makes them happier than the truth. The truth, enough to be free. The conversation moves into the second half, and it is no longer about Jamie Dornan. It is about how we view relationships in showbiz, especially between famous people of the opposite sex. Diane asks, Dakota, why did you decide to speak up today? She replies, her eyes softening. I used to think that silence was a way to let things go. But it turns out that silence can also be interpreted as agreement. I no longer want to live under speculation. I no longer want my true self to be buried under some imaginary version of myself. Reaction: media shock. Immediately after the interview aired, the global media exploded. Headlines immediately dominated the top trending. Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan was never my lover. Variety, she finally said it. Entertainment Tonight, fans shocked. Dakota insists she never loved Jamie Dornan. Daily Mail. Social media exploded. Some fans expressed disappointment, even anger. They must be hiding. Why deny it like that? I don't believe it. Dakota is just trying to bury the past. But there were also many supportive voices. She doesn't owe anyone a love story. Finally, a woman dares to say, love doesn't always come in intimacy. Jamie Dornan's response. 3 days later, Jamie Dornan posted a brief message on his X, formerly Twitter, account. I'm proud of Dakota. The truth is sometimes the hardest thing to say, especially when people don't want to hear it. Our friendship is precious, it doesn't need a label. The tweet received more than 2 million likes and more than 400,000 shares. It was the first time Jamie had directly addressed the rumors, and the first time he had confirmed what Dakota had said. The future has no shadow. Dakota Johnson is now moving forward on her artistic journey with lighter feet. No longer being asked about her past, she is fully focused on her project, The Side of Silence, a film she says is a letter to those who have been misunderstood and who have been silenced for too long. At the end of the interview, Diane asked, if you could say one last thing to Jamie Dornan, what would it be? Dakota thought for a few seconds. Then, smiling, I would say, thank you for walking with me through a very tumultuous chapter. And for never asking me to play the lover I never was, the truth that unleashes. The biggest lesson from this story may not be whether Dakota and Jamie were in love, but how the public, and the media, treat the possibility of a deep, non-romantic friendship between two famous people. We crave fairy tales, to the point of creating a love story when the people involved are just doing their jobs, with mutual respect, unconditionally. But today, the people involved spoke clearly, without leaving any room for retreat.